and it was not a good year for them last season, and it ended with controversy. Tyreek Hill, he didn't play the last week of the year. Then he told reporters, "I need to change. I'm out of here." And all of a sudden, he's not out of there, and he stays in Miami. And Tua spoke on it, I believe, earlier today, if not last night. And here's what the quarterback of the Dolphins, his teammate for the last handful of years, had to say about Tyreek Hill.
I would say we're still continuing to do that. But it's not just with me. It's with a lot of the guys. I'm not the only one that heard that. You guys aren't the only people that heard that. A lot of people that follow football, that follow the Miami Dolphins, that follow Tyreek, that are fans of his. Everyone has seen that. So when you say something like that, you don't just come back from that with, hey, my bad. You got to work that relationship up. You got to build everything up again. And yeah, that it's still a work in progress, not just for me, but for everybody. But like I said, he's working on himself. He's working on the things that he says he wants to get better with and do better on. So that's the first step to me, and so I commend him for doing that.
How does this not turn into a disaster for Tyreek Hill and the Dolphins?
All I can think of, Hayes, is like Hard Knocks is at the Bills, and like did not make a cameo on the show today. Their cameras and crews are just like just everywhere you look. There were bunches of them. Sounds like they should all pack up and go down to Miami.
Yes, get down there for the second episode.
Get down. That's really something. Those are strong comments when you're talking about a quarterback, an established starting quarterback in the National Football League, directing comments about, we all can't just say, whoops, my bad, or you can't just say, whoops, my bad, to the highest paid offensive player besides himself on the team. In fact, I'd have to think about whether he makes more or less than Tua right now, but I don't have to float, whatever. The point is that, he's one of the highest paid receivers in the league. He's a huge presence in your offense. He's been, a bit of an enigmatic character in his career already. And then you have those comments hanging out. I feel like the Bills kind of have the luxury that the Patriots had during, for 20 years, was they could kind of count on 5-1 or 6-0 in the division every year. And of course, Buffalo has historically, in this edition of the Bills, have been historically great against the Miami Dolphins, including, knocking them out of the division title on the last Sunday of the year 2 years ago when they had a 3-game lead with like 5 to play. And, same thing last year was against the Bills where Tua got knocked out by Damar Hamlin. And so, you throw the Jets into the mix, and I think New England will be better. And, they might be the second best team in the division this year. But wow, when your rest of your division is imploding or has a history of implosion, it certainly makes the walk through that division a lot easier. And setting the tone on July the 23rd with that, it should be an interesting year in Miami.